Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen, and the leading investigator on any of my cases, parapsychology and paranormal investigations. Welcome to 2024. Okay, so it's going to be a mad year. It's going to be a crazy year. I'm not going to get into why, but I've got a lot of amazing downloads already coming in every single day. So this is why my paper's out. Even though I'm discussing cases, I'm literally like, I just got another upgrade. Spiritual upgrade. I'm constantly getting spiritual gifts. It's amazing. So, because I do the work, the hard work, the shadow work, I do all of that, and I continue to keep developing and mastering. And when you keep doing all the shadow work and you do everything you're supposed to do, you're going to get gifted more spiritual abilities. It's as simple as that, right? But that's just me. And I knew I was going to get hit with something big anyway because of what's coming this year in 2024. There's going to be a lot, and I feel like I've got to be constantly updating people on what's going on. So it's not going to interfere with the energy or anything like that. It's going to be part of it. Even the IIDR reports, they're going to be part of the telepathy reports, paranormal investigations, parapsychology. Well, IIDR, intuitive intelligence, they come into the parapsychology investigations anyway. So it's all parapsychology. It's the abilities of the mind. Now, I've got to stress this. I didn't feel like I was ever going to be discussing this, but apparently I've got to because, well, I know why. I'm going to keep that to myself right now. But since 2018, I was allocated 6 federal agents that were assigned to me connecting wise on what we basically, they work for various agencies in the States, but they are highly intuitive human beings, whatever, right? Well, we're all interdimensional beings. We're just living a human experience in this, but they are just like me, except they do work for the federal government. Now, I don't work for anybody apart from me. I work for me, my company. I'm not affiliated with anybody. I don't work for MI6. I don't work for I don't work for CIA. I don't do any of that. I don't work for FBI, regardless of what idiotic little creatures tell people, which is so stupid. I'm not affiliated or anything like that with any of them. But these 6 agents, I have been for a good few years now. It's usually will connect, right? It's just frequencies, tapping into energy frequencies. We are just a frequency. But they do what I do. They're very good at the mastered remote viewers. I'd be intrigued to know who trained them, but it certainly wasn't me. Or I'd like to think that they were, well, it doesn't even matter who trained them. They're really good, but we sort of get the hit to connect, right? It's always been like, I know when to connect, and I know when it's almost like we all come online at the same time on the etheric realm. We all come online at the same time. We all just connect to each other, and we're sort of sharing data. Where I go in different higher dimensions, they don't go. They can't get access to what I get, which is why it's almost like the come online. I feel like we come online once a month. Ephemerally. It's really weird. But see, I get a lot of downloaded data all the time from I go to the higher dimensions. I'm constantly working with sources on the 6, 7, 8 higher dimensions. So, and I don't feel for a second they have that sort of time to do what I do, which is why, but they're very in tune, they're very intuitive, so they know how to sort of connect to frequencies. And if they were not of good intention, like if their intentions were not good, they would not have been chosen at all. Not a chance in hell. So, and I feel, and obviously I don't know the names, and I don't even know where they're located, and that's for a reason, because it protects them and it protects me. Because if they're so divinely protected and they've been sort of selected, there's absolutely no way, because the integrity of these agencies right now is not good. So there's no way they have a very important job to do. And I feel like sometimes they're pretty much about the balance. You can't have good without the bad. You can't have light without dark. You can't have, it's not possible. So, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing interactive remote viewing sessions with you guys and gals throughout the year as well in 2024. But these guys, I say guys, I say guys, but it's only because I feel like the divine masculine energies. And when we all got like divine and feminine, but I feel like I feel like I call them my guys. Well, they're not my guys, but they're sort of my guys that I connect to. Their integrity is impressive and it's intact. Like I said, there's no way they'd be getting my data if they're aware of good intentions, put it that way. It's all about the intention. Now, it's important, and it's important because what they do is for their people, right? It's all to protect the people, and it's stuff that if it, depending on what the intuitive intelligence is, they will distribute it to the right places. That's why I feel like it's different agencies. It's almost like they're being handpicked from a different agency within the sort of like federal government, like that. So they all get a piece of the pie, I guess. It's that's how I sort of see it. But this isn't something that's new to me anymore. I've never once even I would never have spoken about this. I would never have even discussed it, but I feel like I'm allowed to, like I'm supposed to. But it almost feels like they're waiting. It's like there's a message in that too for them. Like there's going to be, I feel like they're waiting for a green light. That's the one thing, like they're waiting for a green light. They're waiting for, you got the green light. Well, I feel like this is it for them. I don't know why, and I don't know what they're working on, but whatever. Now, I feel like there's a lot going on this year, and as to why and I'm glad I don't know their names. I'm glad I don't know anything about them. I know their energies. So let's just say, for example, they were going to turn up on my doorstep tomorrow, right? And I would know their energies immediately. So if you get these idiots turning on my door going, hi, yeah, it's me, you've been, I don't think so. I'll know their energy. And it's like, no. So it's like that. I mean, I'm tapped onto 60 at the moment, so I'm pretty sure a lot of stuff's coming through. The reason I'm saying this is because this was conducted, this IIDR21 was conducted on 6D. Now, 2:55 p.m. on the 1st of the 1st, 2024. This is connected to, I feel like they're waiting for this data too. Actually, I feel like they're waiting for the green light on this. It's not just this case though. Now, last year, 20th of February 2022, I'm going to have to put this down as IIDR21.1. I'm going to have to do this, it's like 2 parts. And I'm going to connect it to this one. I feel like it's connected. But all year last year, I feel like I was working on a lot of cases to do with human trafficking, sex trafficking, missing, sort of like prostitutes going missing and everything. But it's all part of the syndicate. It's all part of the sort of, it's group related. It's just organized crime. But it all sort of interconnects, and I feel like the green light is a lot of communities in Arizona are about to get fucking hit. Because of what's going on in them. Prostitution, trafficking, human trafficking. Anything that's illegal is going on in these communities. And it does not matter what the community is, whether it's a church, it does not even matter right now. There is a lot of communities in Arizona that have been pretty much watched. I was feeling this like last year. I got a lot of intelligence of this one. I mean, a lot of data too. Community and everything. So, but I monitored it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll sit on that for a little bit because I feel like more's going to come, and it did. So I feel like with my guys, it's almost like they've already got all the data now that they needed. I'm going to be doing IIDR22, which I'm going to sort of, even though I'm discussing IIDR21, I feel like I've got IIDR22 coming in right now. That's why I'm sort of connected, because I'm on 6D, and I feel like I'm going to be getting some like data. So you're going to have to bear with me. Normally, I just like go full blown remote viewing and put my mask on and everything to just sort of remove the distractions. But I'm just going to have to flip. Like, I'll talk about 21, but if I'm gathering data, I'm going to write it down. But it's more because it's all connected. Right, okay. Now, so there is again, and it's going to be all of this stuff is going to be on the news. It's going to be all the dirty laundry A lot of communities are going to be absolutely shamed, right? Because of who they've sort of got in their communities, what they're doing in those communities. And it's like this, like drug dealing. I was hearing stuff like IIDR21. I was hearing stuff like, if you find the bag drugs in random places, don't touch them. Fingerprints will expose these people. I'm like, what now? Okay, weird. So there's drug dealing. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's like certain people to hiding drugs in certain places, like in plain sight, but not near them, if you know what I mean. So, but it doesn't matter because they're dumb. DNA is everything, obviously, and they're not that smart. So, but I feel like the problem with that is it's already done. It's like they already know all this anyway. So, but there's a connection. Like here in Arizona, it's probably the same in a lot of states, and I feel like a lot of states are being cracked down big time. Just think of like one main organization, and I'll tell you something else as well that is connected to IIDR21. Here it's coming in. I'll take the download. And it's the same to do the same. Well, yeah, the same types of people. Every walk of life, because I was asking like, who's involved in all this kind of crap? Who's involved? I heard who isn't. So every walk of life, there's people from every walk of life involved in this kind of syndicate stuff. It like this here, you've got communities. It's like a cobweb, right? All over Arizona, different types of communities, right? And they've all got these prostitute rings. They've got there's sex trafficking going on. There's drug dealing. There's everything that's illegal, right? Everything that's illegal is going on in these communities, and they've been observed and watched for over a year. And that makes sense because, like I said, I feel like there was a huge sort of undercover sting operation going on anywhere, surveillance-wise, a huge surveillance sting, that's why I kept my mouth shut and I didn't say anything. But it's about to kick off. Like all of these communities are going to get hit, but they're all going to get hit at once. And I was hearing when the domino effect takes effect, when the domino effect takes effect, watch them all drop, and then be ready to pick up the pieces. So, I mean, at this point, if you're involved in any of this, it's on you. You're done, right? But I feel like there was a major sort of like surveillance operation, and because they've got everything they need now, that they're literally, if they haven't done it already, but they're about to hit all of these communities. And IID22, the main organization here in Arizona, it's called, I kept hearing Midnight. I don't know if it was like, the organization's called Midnight something. I feel like they're waiting for this too. Or they already know about this, but I kept hearing like Train or Express. I'm like, Midnight Express, Midnight Train, what the hell is that about? But I don't think it's called Midnight Express. I think it's all to do with the way everything's connected. You think of like, imagine designing a train track, right? And then at each stop is a community or anything to do with covenants, anything to do, or where there's people involved, right? And the train stops, and every single stop, but they're delivering and they're connected. Each stop is connected to this one big agency in Arizona because it's so corrupted. It's so bad. Now apparently this Midnight, what is that? I couldn't get the name of it. Midnight something. This is where they'll abduct. Well, this is where they take prostitutes. This is in the forest somewhere. When I was visually seeing it, I was in like forest terrain. It looked like a huge, so it had like loads of like log cabins and stuff like that. And I'm, it's surrounded by a lake, and I'm thinking, so it's somewhere, but it's greenery. So I'm thinking like more north of Arizona. Now, there was a massive lake. It was private land. And I remember thinking, okay, this is kind of nice, a lot of hunt, but there was a lot of human hunting going on. And this is where they take prostitutes. And Oh, God, I'm going to tell you something. So this is, I'm focusing on IIDR22 now, because I feel like this is what they've already got. I mean, I got this intelligence anyway, but I already distributed it to my guys, but, midnight something. What the hell was that? Because I saw it as like a photographic visual, but it was too fast. They abduct people, they abduct men and women, homeless, and the vulnerable, and they take them to this forest, and they just pretty much like, they're just human sport to them. But then I was seeing a roulette table, and basically instead of the numbers, like the red and black numbers, you know, there in each of the compartments was a name of a prostitute or a name of a person, and whoever that name it lands on, that's always going to get sacrificed, probably that weekend or that evening, whatever. These are sick, twisted mothers, right? And I pray to God, and I'm hoping now, I feel like we're getting all the, it's going to be big news, because it's connected and it affects the whole of Arizona. So many people are involved in it. It's really disgusting. But it's all to do with trafficking. It's all to do with child trafficking, human trafficking, missing people. Because I was hearing that, well, someone's got to clean up the streets. I'm like, what do you mean clean up the streets? I don't know if that was them using an excuse for getting the homeless off the streets, or I don't even want to think about. That's just disgusting. So there's a lot of that going on. But again, these communities, in these communities, there are certain people in these communities affiliated to the biggest, to this organization called the Midnight Something. This consists of every type of person, probably ex-military, everybody, from all what industries, politicians, legal, everything. So many people know about it too. So many people know, and that's probably why you couldn't keep something like this off the radar for too long. But depending on who's involved, you'll be able to keep it out the courts. Obviously, if you've got like sort of certain judges or part of the justice system is involved in this too, you're going to be able to keep that quiet. But I feel like it was a red flag, and it hit the FBI, and they're like, what on earth? And then, I mean, I don't know whether or not any of those are involved. I don't feel like they are. I don't feel like they are. I feel like they're the ones that have been like, spent years sort of like knowing something big is in control of this whole state, but it's so sick and twisted that it's connected to, and you know, it wouldn't say Midnight Express, Midnight Train. What is that? The organization's Midnight Something, but it could be called, no, it's not the name of the mission. I know underground something that's to do with like finding missing children and stuff like that. It could be those, it could be part of that agency, or who focused on Arizona, because it was just, you got to remember, you've got like Nevada, California, Colorado, Utah, you know, wherever you are, you can pretty much, this is what I call the gateway to the US. You can pretty much distribute it right down to Mexico, do you know what I mean? Like, it's right there, like 4 hours. So, you know, there's a lot going on. There's so much going on. And they can't control the border. Well, there's a reason for that. And so it's all interconnected. But again, it's like these communities all over, HOA communities and everything, they're connected to, they've got people involved. So it's like it trickulates their habits. They'll put people in certain communities to make them money through prostitution, through drug dealing, all that kind of stuff. Where they're sort of where sex would sell, that's what they're going to distribute their prostitutes to. It's a big organization, but I feel like this is nationwide. It's almost like in every single state, there's a huge organization that trickulates to little ones, the different communities. And I feel like they're going to the top. So I feel like that's what they need to do. You want to get all the trash, the gutter trash, right? That's connected to it. You go straight for the main organization. Now, unfortunately, it's a possibility that they could have people who they sort of work for them also involved in it somewhere along the line, but You got to take out the trash. You're not going to be able to clean house unless you take out the trash. So I feel like on January, I'm not even surprised by that. January the 1st, I'm like, yeah, it's all kicking off. It's like, this is the year. This is it. This is the year when, you're going to see results, but you're going to hear about results. We already know what's going on with Epstein and all the names are being released. It's all connected and interconnected to that. These same people, the higher uppers, it's a hierarchy. These are the ones that were probably friends with Jeffrey Epstein. These are the reasons. It's probably the same reason, but you're going to find in each state, the higher uppers are involved with Jeffrey Epstein somewhere, or they will have been affiliated or worked with them somewhere down the line at some point in the past. So it's all very connected, very, very connected in the States, US. And they've got to clean this. They've got to clean this country up. They've got to clean house. So I feel like they're doing it. They're starting from the top. They're like going in from the main organizations in each state. And I think because I'm here in Arizona is probably why I had to sort of focus on this one. And I'm pretty sure they'll have other people like me in different states. But it doesn't even matter anyway, because if I need to tap into a different state, I'm going to tap into a different state. It's all to do with energy frequencies. So that's why this really does correlate with IIDR22 is so connected to IIDR21. They are connected. Everything is interconnected because they're part of the same sort of there's a major pattern. The pattern's there. And right now it's obvious. So now the lake I was seeing was, so basically, let's just go back to the communities for IIDR21. All of these smaller communities that are either funding this, or some of the people that are involved in it, or there's funding from each, whatever, right? They're going down. These communities are getting raided. And everybody's going to hear about it. Now, I don't know when. I didn't get a date. I just knew it was soon. But I don't rely on dates anyway, because time's man-made. It's linear. I don't focus on times and stuff like that. And I'm not going to give times either, because if it didn't happen, no. I don't. I work on the ether. So it's coming, obviously. I can feel it. And that's why it's so important to get it out. But it's going to cause a major domino effect. And trust me, you're going to be amazed at all the little scapegoats and everything that they're going to try and use. It's not going to wash. You see, even though it's a major surveillance operation, the people that were accused of doing stuff have been heavily vetted. They've been investigated. They've been surveyed and everything, right? And all it's done is the sort of people that have been making sort of false claims to sort of divert it away from them. They're the ones that have been re-looked at. It's like, why don't you just keep your mouth shut, you idiots, right? You're just kind of like, why? Because you don't like somebody, so now you've had to make sort of false claims. But what's going to happen when there's nothing on that person? They're going to look at you and go, why would you? They're going to look straight at you. Then they're going to see your rap sheets. And then they're going to dig deeper. And then they're going to follow the money. They're going to follow the trails, and they're going to follow right back to you. Good. That's how dumb people are. Criminals are today. They're not really smart, are they? But the higher up is obviously the higher organization. They're a little bit more organized because they've got more intelligent people. But they obviously are not in certain communities. But so that's why you'll always hear of like people in different sort of communities like, yeah, I've got loads of, my friends are cops. Yeah, I bet they are. Oh yeah, I've got friends, I've got lawyer friends, I've got blah, blah friends, I've got blah, blah friends. Like, but who are you and what do? You don't really do anything, right? There's a big red flag there. What do you do to know all those people? So these are the things I listen. These are obviously, and then get intuitive intelligence data. So it's going to be big, but it's connected. It's like I say, just think of a train. Maybe that's why I kept hearing the Midnight Express, but the organization is Midnight something. But I feel like the FBI already know about that. They just can't. I feel like they finally put the dots together. And it needs to happen. Whatever's going on here, it needs to happen. It has to end because it's getting worse and it's not getting any better. Now, there's been a lot going on. What I was hearing and I still keep getting it like 800 and is it 892,000, right? Between, you see, this can be looked into. I don't know the full statistics, but between year 2020 to 2022, these evil creatures, global, this isn't just a country now. This figure, 892,000 children were expired between the year 2020 and 2022. That's how badly they needed. The chain supply dried out. The chain supply ended. That's the other thing here. Chain supply ended. Now, but globally, not one country, 892,000 children globally were no longer, they were expired. This is what I think really triggered in a huge divine intervention. We're like, I don't think so. That was it. Because I felt, I'll tell you what it was. Like I got my warning about what was going on, what was coming on, that good stuff, called a warning in 2018. I got the know when I got the scene and everything, right? From the Most High, the divine, and all the dimensional high sources, right? I'm very transparent. Go and watch my videos. But something, and we all know what happened in 2020. I'm not going to get into it. We all know what happened. And there was a panic for the whole world shut down. Well, that stopped the chain. That basically ended the supply chain of these children, right? That's pretty much what that was about. I already know what was going on. Operation Underground was all part of that. But unfortunately, 892,000 in total, because they will have been hidden for a while, but they had to, between those 2 years, that's how many evil creatures, they need to go to hell, like, now. But since 2022, it has been harder. Don't get me wrong, it's not like they haven't been trying, but it's been harder. But they've been heavily monitored, they've been surveyed more, because they know exactly who's involved, right? That's sickening, that. And I feel like it's horrible, because I feel like a lot of parents have lost, I feel like they lost hope anyway. This is all human trafficking. This is child trafficking. This is like stealing children from different countries. This is what happens when you allow children undocumented to cross your borders illegally. That's part of their supply chain. When you understand who's involved in all of this, you should be sick to your stomach, and you should be, again, I said this before in one of my other videos, if you really want to save the children, and you want to get involved in the movement, you start marching through streets in every single country to stop it, because they're not going to stop. It's going to be a lot harder for them now, but they're still not going to stop, because they're evil, and evil's a choice, not a condition. So I slowly feel like a lot of agencies too have been clean. We know, unfortunately, the FBI's had a bit of a bad rap, because of the bad eggs. And I feel like they've had to, and because to try and get their integrity back, they've had to really, their integrity has been a bit low, but I feel like they've had to really sort of clean house too, and it's been a process. But I feel like a lot of federal agencies have had to do the same. You're always going to get your moles. You're always going to get one that scared, one got through and not the target. But people leave behavioral patterns anyway. So, and that's why I feel that's why I was connected to my six guys in 2018. It was like a heads up. They needed to know, and that's why I feel like the part of every one is each organization. They needed to know what to do to get the data, what was coming, so they could be ready for it, and at least triculate some data to observe, surveying and all that, surveillance and stuff like that. But then it's up to them. These are awesome people anyway. So, and when I'm talking about highly intuitive people, right, in those agencies, like, you know, like me, you want those agents in your agencies, right? But you will never know how they're not, it's like they hide it. They have to because of, but then again, if they're sort of known for their sort of remote viewing skills, they're probably well known for that anyway. But I don't know. It feels a bit secretive as well. It's like, okay, maybe they're not on the radar, but it doesn't even matter even if they are now anyway, because the old guard's done cleaning out. So, but what I'm saying is, in the future, you want these type of people on your teams protecting your country, and you're gonna get more in the future, because the future's be very different. So I already know I'm working on I know I've been working on my goal to get the Parapsychology Institute up and running in the next few years. It would have been nice to have done it next year, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I haven't put a date on it, but I have to open a Parapsychology Institute because I've got to train people in the future to do what I do. I mean, most of what I do, I was born with, obviously. But there's a lot of stuff that I do that I'm going to be teaching perceptive children and everything. I'm going to be teaching different generations, but mainly, astral traveling, how to sort of, you know, not abuse it, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of abilities that's why my telepathy is so important. I'm writing a scientific paper on it because it's very useful. And we can all tap into that, but people don't know, so they need to be educated. So, there's a lot that I do with my skills and abilities and, I guess, gifts that you can teach them, but it takes some time. But all the human abilities, yeah, you can train and teach. So I already know this. I already sort of know how different the future is going to be anyway. Parapsychology is going to be a huge part of the educational system in the future. So, and that's why I'm going to get my Parapsychology Institute up and running. It's already happening. It's just not here yet, but it's already happening. So, that's what's going on. But in order to move forward in the future now, is to take all of this trash out. You've got to clean it all. And I don't care how perverted people are. I don't care about people's sick, twisted sexual perversions. If they're involved in this, they need to go to prison. It's as simple as that. I don't care how much they are. I don't care how much they've got. I don't care how rich they are. They've got to go to prison. You've got to start making examples of these rich pieces of crap, because these are the ones that are organising it and basically paying dirty little gutter rats to do the dirty work, unfortunately. You're not going to fix a problem with a band-aid. You've got to go right to the root of the problem, the condition, and get right to it. And even then, it's still, evil is not a condition, it's a choice. So that was IIDR21. I was sort of seeing, like, visually, like video visuals of raids taking places, and I'm like, what? The actual wow. And just people blaming each other. I'm like, oh no, it wasn't me, you don't understand. It's like, done. Cry to your lawyers now, do you know what I mean? Let's hope to God they're on the right side and the light side and not the dark side. So, but I feel like, and the other thing I feel like is going to happen in 2024, a lot of professional people are going to start losing their professional licenses. Like their federally, like if you're a doctor or anything like that, or a lawyer or a judge, all of those walks of life, I feel like a lot of those licenses you have to have. I feel like a lot of these sort of people are going to be losing their license to practice what it is they do, because of what they're sort of involved in, are the corruption and the little parts they played somewhere along the line for money. And then depraved sex, whatever they're into, idiots. So that's all of that. They're all interconnected. There's something wrong. There's something to do with HOAs in this state. Like, I keep hearing the problems in the HOA. Well, okay, I don't really know what, but that would not surprise me. Again, these HOA communities, the HOA is high for a reason, to keep certain types of people out, right? They don't want what they would call like that. No. They're hidden for a reason. Like, they keep it high for a reason. When you've got to pay the equivalent to a mortgage payments as your HOA fee, there's something else going on. It's not just because you're living in a nice area. It's because it's probably wants the certain types of people only. I just question, why is the HOA the cost of a mortgage? I mean, what's going on there? Who lives there? Why? I don't know. If something feels a bit nonsensical, there's a reason for it. Like, no, I'm not buying it. But then again, I think differently anyway, so I'm probably going to get tapped into probably the reasons why in some, not all places, but some. But I feel like it's all, and it's not just that. I feel like the churches have had this problem with the community and everything. I feel like churches are going to get raided and everything. This is why I'm a minister with no church. I don't need a church. I go to the people. Simple as that. People do not need to come to me. So I think, but then again, I've always said, I've been saying for years, perfect place to wash your dirty money is the church, isn't it? So we've got to wash your dirty money somewhere. So that's, I'm sorry, but I'm very aware of how this world works. I'm not saying all churches are corrupt or anything like that, but a lot are. So there's big communities, there's certain communities that are, and I think there's going to be a lot in major cities and different places scattered around the whole of Arizona. I feel like they're going to get hit big, like there's going to be a full raid. And I feel like the green light is, well, I feel like my guys have got the green light, or waiting for the green light anyway. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, but again, I'll just say it one more time before I kind of close out this, because I figure these two cases, well, it's not that they're connected. These communities can have affiliated connections to this organization, something, the Midnight something. This is heavily protected. This organization heavily protected by what I was feeling when I was connected in, like I say, at this forest was, it's almost like they have their own personal private security. So you're talking like ex-mercenaries and ex-military and stuff like that, possibly ex-police or anything. So I feel like it's very, you could not get onto that forest, right? You could not just walk in and go, oh, what's going on here? It's a private, but I feel like it's very heavily protected, and there's a lot of people involved. And I don't really care what sort of ex-military you are or ex-type of warrior you are. You get involved in this kind of stuff where you abuse, hurt, rape, taunt, all that kind of stuff, and you're involved in this, especially with children and stuff like that. You've lost the right to call yourself a warrior. I don't care if you're a warrior of God or a warrior of your countries. You're involved in any of this. You've lost the right to call yourself a warrior. Warriors protect the vulnerable and the children and the weak. They're protectors, right? The protectors of the earth. Not to hide their sick, sexual, sadistic little games and, ooh, I need money because I've got a gold digging wife that needs more. I don't think so. So that's what we're dealing with. And I'm not going to start talking about bigger organizations or certain names of organizations, because that's far too nationwide right now. I'm speaking about this one in here in Arizona. Big problem, but it's about to get cracked down, and we're going to hear about it too. It's going to be worldwide news and everything. So, well, probably nationwide news first, and then. So, I'm tired of this energy as well, and I've been working on so many cases like this in this state for the last sort of like nearly 2 years, but they're all connected. It just makes me feel sick. Like, there's the Phoenix lap dancing circuit. Okay, right, well, probably part of the problem. It's probably part of the same thing. They're probably trickling money somewhere. when you talk about the Phoenix lap dancing circuit, well, you know what? It's not Nevada, right? In Nevada, state of Nevada, prostitution's legal. It's not legal here in Arizona. A lot of stuff's legal, so it's still a little bit like Wild West, right? But there are certain things that are still illegal. So, but there's some, I kept hearing like the Phoenix lap dancing circuit. So maybe that's what, I don't know why I would hear the Phoenix lap dancing circuit. I would just, if anything, I'll just be like, okay, so you're talking about strip joints, like clubs, right? But that's not what I was hearing. It's to do with the circuit. There's, again, anything to do with the circuit. Circuits are usually connected to something else. So, and those women are going to be careful, because I feel like they're the ones being used as this sacrifice tool. Like they're used, obviously, to make, for sex, to make money for men, these disgusting, perverted men. But the problem is, when they're going deeper into with this problem here, and it doesn't even matter what community they come from or anything, right? When you start hedging towards these creatures, these evil creatures that are involved in the roulette, that's what they decide is going to be. And I'm not talking about like murder sacrifice. I'm talking about however they sacrifice people, whatever it is that they do to make those sacrifices. That's what they do. They just roll this like roulette table and go, let's see what's going to be there. It's like, can you be any more sicker than that? Because everything's a game to them. It's human sport. They've got no conscience. They share the same planet as us, but they live in a completely different world, because it's controlled and owned by that, and power, and who's involved in protection. So, but I'm just so glad it's about to go down. It's about time, and it's necessary. So, and I also feel like it's safe to start discussing it too. And I don't want to be discussing any more of this anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these cases, right? I'm sick and tired of having to connect to these energies. So now I feel like once this could be the start of the domino effect too. Like Arizona could be the start of like boom, and all the other states like, should we go start running and hiding? You can run but you can't hide. That I feel like that's going to be the major domino effect, and then there's going to be the little scapegoats. But it wasn't my fault. You don't understand. It wasn't me. Okay then. So yeah, but I don't think it matters. It doesn't even matter who's discussing this anymore now. I think it's too late for them to sort of like, you cannot silence every single person that's already getting the same or similar information anyway, and they're just putting it out there. You can't silence everybody. But you can try, you little gang stalking freaks, but it's not going to stop the justice coming. You cannot get away with this. You can't beat justice. And I'm telling you right now, I'll tell you what else is, you've got to be careful, right? You've got to be careful, because on the Christmas day, 2023, I was already connected to the energy, and the energy shifted. And I'm talking about the cause and effect shift called karma, known and looks and feels like karma, right? There was a major shift on Christmas Day. And I felt that shift because I work within the energy magnetic field. I'm thinking, what on earth was that? It was like what was upside down. It was like, do you know, trying to think the best way I can explain it. You've got, what do you call those? Turn upside down the sun and trickles, right? Like, completely lost. I forgot what you call them. But anyway, just think of that. Time's run out. And then, and once they turned it back upside down, the days are done. All of this crap, like justice is like, now watch justice take effect. Because for so long, it's been so disgusting and evil and bad. But now the tables have turned and the cause and effect has taken place. It's like, yeah, now justice is going to kick ass, but big time, like globally and everything. And I remember thinking, that's kind of how it felt. It's the only easiest, best way I can explain. But then I remember thinking, oh my. Then on the 31st of December, I'm like, oh my. Oh, there was this weird, like, there's no way if you were highly intuitive or you were connected to energy and you're at least vibrating a high vibrational frequency, on December the 31st, you would have felt, do you know what it felt like? An earthquake on the etheric realm. Like everybody felt a shake, but you would have to be of a high vibrational frequency to feel it. And everybody that sort of understands what I'm talking about and weights of energy, we all felt like an earthquake. It's the only way I can explain how it would feel. But we all felt at the same time like something big's about to kick off and it's all about to come crashing down. And that's exact. And then what was coming from that was karma, cause and effect. It's upside. It's now that's it. These people are going to start scattering like little rats they are, and everything that bad that you've been doing or you've been implementing or whatever you've been involved in that's not of good morals or anything like that, or whatever you've been hurting another human being, etc. What you've done to another in 2023 is coming back, and you're going to get kicked in the teeth by karma. Many are going to learn a lot of lessons from that, but this isn't just a personal thing. This major shift was a global karmatic shift. So that's why I know something huge is coming this year. And I heard July 24. And I also heard it's going to be a hot summer. So start listening. Okay. I don't know what day. I don't want a day. If we could get a broad idea. Because I also wrote on my board, I already got that in intuitive intelligence last year. November the 20th, 2024, something big's going to happen well, that's on the 20th. So something big's going to happen on that date too. But 2024, now, let's just say, for example, something is probably going to kick off, but they're going to call it, okay, these evil creatures that are part of what's really going on, they have to be honest. They have to tell you what they're involved in. So you might start suddenly hearing in the media or even on the Weather Channel sort of media, you might start hearing from March onwards, like, it's looking like it's going to be a hot summer, right? Well, globally though, the problem is not every single country in the world is has summer in July sort of thing. It's like different sort of, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be, you start hearing it's going to be a hot summer all the time, repetitively, because that's what programming. It's propaganda. They're letting you know something's about to kick off because it's part of natural law and universal laws. You've got to sort of tell people, but they're going to do it the way they always do, right? So, okay, well, you're not going to think differently. I'll tell you what you need to do. July 2024. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't got the clarity. Something big's going to happen in July 2024. And if they're going to start using the word, and I heard hot summer, but if you start hearing that, try and, if you can, try to avoid being in the big cities, your major cities, as much as you can. Get away from the major cities as much as you can. Just for the month of July. Just doesn't hurt. Could be wrong. Nothing might happen. But it's better to be prepared, hey, why not? I'm going to the country or something, going to the forest, get out the city as much as you can while you can. And just be careful. Because I just feel like, I don't know, I'm not going to start creating fear, but if you start hearing the term, it's going to be a hot summer, and it's constantly repetitive, and it's not just on the news, but it's also like on the Weather Channel and stuff, it's like, why are you saying the same thing? That's your cue to start thinking, okay, something, start tapping in, like, what's going on? Something's going on. So there's a little bit of that too. So I'm going to actually just stick that too in, IIDR21. Let me stick that data in. God, I've got so much coming in. So other than that, yeah, I'm just going to combine IIDR 21.1. I'll connect that to IIDR 21.2, but IIDR 22, there's a connection. Thank God. Everything's about to, and it's good. It's about time. Other than that, I'll see you all again very soon.